Hey, welcome to Papa's Custom Cars. I'm going to be installing a Prevost piping system that I bought secondhand. I don't have a lot of the mounting hardware that they come with. It is a used system. Whoever took it off just stripped it, left it on the floor, and decided to sell it. So I bought it. So that's what we're going to work on today. So with this Prevost system, a few disclaimers. I don't have the hardware for this system. I've got basic stuff that I'm going to try to use, such as just regular 1-inch clamps. I've got boards. They do make specialty installations kits for these things, for mounting on the wall, for hanging from the ceiling. They've got little like clips where you just pop the pipe into place. I don't have any of that. I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to try this out, see if it. I didn't pay much for it, so I'm gonna see if I can get this thing to work and to work the way it's supposed to. It's a really, really pricey system. Fittings alone are $25. I have watched the instructional videos that they give for the system, and the way that you put it together is really easy. And if you have their full kit, it definitely is worth purchasing. Let's put it that way. From what I've seen, it is a high-end system. It is not like your normal garage type of thing. And that's kind of why I bought it, was because there are a lot of pieces here that I can build the entire system for the garage. And so you're going to see me do a few things that they do not recommend. And I don't recommend. If you're going to buy one of these systems, go buy everything. They have the special decouplers, the hangers, all that kind of stuff that they offer. I'm just using what I have on hand to put it up. I'm only running, a few lines in the garage, and I've got about 200 feet of this pipe, so I might as well use it. The only thing I don't have is they have a specialty cutter, they have a specialty deburring tool and all that kind of thing, and I'm just using my normal pipe stuff. So again, they make an entire kit where it's got your torque wrench and everything for doing it. But for the most part, we're going to try to put this thing together with what we have. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, okay, well, I'm out just a couple of bucks. I didn't spend the hundreds of dollars that you would if you bought this system new. It is a used system that I bought from a warehouse that was closing, or they were opening their warehouse for storage, and they didn't need the air system that was in there, so they pulled the whole air system out, and I have everything, like I said, with the exception of the hangers, the wall clamps, and all that kind of fun stuff, the manifolds, all that kind of thing. So if you're going to buy the system, from what I've seen of it so far, it is a really, really nice system. It's good for all your air compressor needs. But as I said, I'm going to try it the poor man's way, as I always do everything. So we're going to see if it works. So let's get installing this thing with what I have and see if we can make it work. Okay, looking at the system, there's a few things that you'll see. I've got some elbows, I've got some T's, but there appears to be a few major parts to it. One is the actual fitting itself. Inside there are O-rings that seal it up, so definitely make sure you get some kind of lube on those. I wouldn't recommend oil. I would recommend something that dissipates pretty quickly. And then, of course, you've got your flare and a little collar. The way they show you installing it is it's already put together. So you've got your O-ring in, you've got your fitting in, and that holds it in place. And then you've got this sucker, and then your fitting goes over the top of it. Now it stays loose until you're going to use it, and we'll actually use this pipe I've got right here to show you how it kind of goes together. But it stays loose until you actually put it on the pipe, and when you put it on the pipe, it bottoms out right into the system, and then you crank this tight, They say don't use channel locks, but unfortunately that's all I have. They make a special tool for it. If you're going to buy it, I suggest you buy the full kit. These are, like I said, very expensive setups. So, but when you crank this tight, the pipe seal locks in there, so she won't come out now. And that O-ring seals everything up to the pipe. So that's kind of how the whole thing goes together. And like I say, I'm doing it the poor man way. I don't have the tools, so unfortunately, I'm going to be using my channel locks. They don't suggest it. I've seen people use them in certain videos, and other people not. But you know, my suggestion is follow the manufacturer's rules and do what the manufacturer says. So with that, we're going to put up our first line and see how that goes. Hope that everything goes together well and seals up like it's supposed to. Okay, one of the things that I'll clue you into right now is I stopped after I got this done and went out and got another piece of pipe. I wanted to make sure that I was building this the correct way. And if you watch the intro, this was already done before I taped that intro. So I need to go in and I need to check this part was pretty much all the way put together except this one right up in here, this connector to go to the T fitting. So I want to pull this apart and make sure that I've done it right. I want to make sure that that O-ring is in there and make sure there's a little bit of lube on that O-ring so that we know that it's going to seal well. Like I said, you want to use whatever they're using. Prevost makes a kit to build these things. So if you're buying it for your shop, and if you have a high-end shop, I suggest you buy this stuff. It is really nice stuff. But I suggest you buy the entire install kit, all their hangers, all that kind of stuff. This is kind of a poor man's way of doing it. I've got what I've got, and I'm kind of going to give it a shot the way it is. Knowing me, I'm going to put it all together. It's probably not going to work, but you never know. I like to do things twice, just like the rest of y'all do. But since I got this stuff cheap, I got to try it and see if it works. So I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to double check and make sure all of the fittings are, and all the O-rings and everything are in these. It is easy to tell when you put them together because they do not come apart the minute you tighten them. I'm also using channel locks. They suggest not doing that. It's what I've got, so I'm going to use it. What they've got is a little wrench that, just like you would use for coil-over shocks, where you spin up the thing. They have little wrenches. They have a little torque wrench. They have everything that you need to do these and to torque them up and have them right. But I'm going to kind of go with what I've got. Like I said, I do things on the cheap. It's what I can afford. To buy this system for my shop, it would be very expensive. And I was looking at a couple of Amazon systems to put in, and I really don't want to do that unless I absolutely have to. So I'm going to give this a shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I can get what I paid for these pipes in scrap because they are all aluminum and they are all really nice. Or if someone's got the system and they want to buy the pipe from me, I'll put them on Marketplace for a little while. And if they don't sell, like I said, I'll just take them down and scrap them and call it a day. So I'm going to jump up here real quick, and I'm going to recheck all these fittings to make sure that you do have the O-rings. I am going to grab my my lube, and I'm going to lube up those rings and make sure everything's good. So let's get on that. So one of the advantages that I do have with this whole system is these pipes have already been cut. Like I said, there were 20 footers that I had to cut in half. They've already been deburred and everything. I kind of went through and deburred them all by hand. They have a tool for it. Would have been nice to have. But it's really the way that the pipes are cut and everything. It's most of the sections that I'm grabbing are already pre-cuts. The 20-foot sections, I didn't need them anyway. There was enough 10-foot sections to go around. I think there were 5 20-footers. So that kind of tells you how much of this stuff I've got. There are probably five or six 20-foots and a bunch of 10s and a bunch of short ones. So we're using everything that we can that's already cut. Once I measure out, if it's within a few inches of what I'm looking for, that's what I'm using. So let's get to it. This one on the bottom, it was already here and already on it. So I'm pretty sure that we've already got it in this one. And if not, then it's going to be easy to fix. But I want to go up and check those other two. It did already have that corner on it and that short pipe. So The only thing I've added is this pipe here, but I still want to check these, make sure everything's put together correctly and that the seals are in there, and then I can get a little bit of lube on them. If you're buying this kit used and you've got the fittings, I took one apart so I could see how it goes together. The O-ring appears to go in first. So it bottoms out inside there. I don't know if you can, how well you can see it on the video, but it bottoms out right here and everything else presses up against it. And then this lock nut, it tightens there's a little spring-loaded metal retaining ring, and when it tightens that little retaining ring. You can see it right there, and clamps onto that pipe to hold onto it. And then your O-ring is going to be your seal, and then this little collar is what holds everything into place. So kind of a neat setup, definitely. Even though they're used, it's well worth the money to buy it new. Yep, it's in there. Okay, that one's good. Put a little lube on there just to make sure, but first let's pull this part apart. Ooh, that one's tight. And I'm doing what they don't recommend. They say no channel locks. But like I say, it's all I have. So, and what most of it is probably it's going to mar this up and or tighten it way too much. And I can already tell this one's not down far enough. So what I want to do when I mount this is make sure that I have enough space to take these off if I have to. And you'll notice that I had to slide the pipe down, so it's a good thing I did that in the beginning. But basically the way it works is you've got your spring-loaded, then your collar, and then your O-ring. This one doesn't appear to have an O-ring. So it's a good thing we checked. This side does. So we definitely want to put an O-ring on this side. So O-ring, O-ring. Go ahead and put this side on. And when you push this on the pipe, everything goes inside and your cap, so it's all put together in here. So when you do take them apart, just all you have to do is loosen this up and the pipe will come out. So in this particular case, we're going to loosen it up. We're going to slide that pipe in. And we're good on this one. And we got our rubber seal in there now. So and we've got our rubber in that one. And once again, as I said, everything is assembled already. So your collar should already be in there. And then your metal locking ring. Let's get that. Come back here, you. You leave it loose. We've already lubed up our pipe. And it just slides into that pipe. And once she's down all the way, tighten up the collar. Don't crank it and kill it. Remember, it's got an O-ring in it. Most O-ring seals don't need to be manhandled to tighten. So I'm giving about 20 to 30 foot-pounds maybe. Don't quote me on that. Look it up. Ask them. Don't ask me. Like I said, I'm just throwing this thing together because I can. And we're going to finish going back up again. Now what's nice about this little section here is I'm able to raise it and lower it. So we want to check this one is good. We want to pull apart this section and make sure our O-rings are all in this section. So we've got it loose. You can just pull it out and then take them apart and make sure all the guts are in there. I see that. I see the collar and I feel the ring. So that one's there. Loosen this one up. There's that. There's that, and there's the O-ring. So those are there. Like I said, these are used parts, so I got to kind of check everything. And this is going to be our run down the wall over there. And I believe that's the O-ring. Yes, the O-ring's in there. So again, you just leave them basically loose, and that way you can get pipe into them. Lube this piece of pipe down. A little bit of spray. And then we're good to go. Again, these stay loose until you lock them into place. So push it all the way on, lock it down. This is the direction she's going to face. So again, using the wrong tool for the right job. Making a mess out of my garage wall. So we're going to turn it down a little bit. And we're going to bring our next section of pipe up and lock it into place. And then we'll turn the whole thing to get it where we want it. And then we'll do our run that way. Which we probably should do the run this way first, just to be safe. And that way, at least we've got this all mounted on the wall and ready to go. I could put a block here to hold it, but if I put one here and down there farther, then I think we'll be okay. And then I'll run one here and then over there a little farther, and we should be okay there too. Should. So let's go find out what size O-ring this is. Matter of fact, we can do better than that. Firing up our micrometer. Power on. Gonna go inch. So I measure it up. And be careful with it because otherwise you'll squish it. Let's see, can you see the... Not sure how well you can see it, but right there. So we have a 1.18 inch. So let's go millimeters and see what that comes out to. All you gotta do is push this button once and it's 30.1 millimeter. So let's go see if we have some. I don't have any this size, so I'm probably gonna have to order them from them. This is one that I pulled apart, and as you can see, it's pretty whacked out. So whoever did this clearly cut it with looks like a saw. Didn't do a very good job of it. So we want to know what our run is along this wall. So we're 104 inches to the center. And that'll put us, so 104. Should put us right where we need to be. What's the nice part about buying all this is all the fun stuff is there. And this end, nice and clean. This is going to have a 45 on it. Let's make sure we've got one with all the gaskets. O-ring, retainer, and everything. And this one we got O-ring, retainer, very nice fit, and retainer. Almost put on there backwards. Don't do that. Once you got it all in, just put them in there, leave them both loose so that they're ready to go. So a little bit of lube on the end of this. And we'll go ahead and put our downturn on it. Like I said, once you push it on, it locks all the way on, so you're good to go. Leave them loose until you're locking them up. And one of the reasons you don't want to use a channel lock is because it'll mar up this thing, and you don't really want it marred up if you're putting it in all brand new. So let's go ahead and put this in place up there. See how much it'll hold. Let me throw a little bit of lube on this side. Oh, this side is not a straight cut, so we're going to have to pipe cut that real quick. So we're going to kind of put this project on hold. We're going to have to make a trip down to Harbor Freight. I do not have a pipe cutter that size, and I don't want to hack it with a saw blade because the saw blade will just mar it all up. I do have the deburring tool. I just don't have the pipe cutter. So with that, we're going to call this a day. I kind of showed you a little bit about this system, and then I'll bring you back when we get ready to install the rest of the pipe. That'll probably be next week. So with that, everybody, please like, share, subscribe. If you're interested in any content of any kind, let me know. I've got about 4,000 projects around the house along with the car. So this week we've got to look at the Nova. We've got to get it working on it. We've got to attack the Mustang. The Mustang's got a little bit of a radiator leak. I think it's the drain valve, because the one that they give you is just garbage. And then we want to look at the brakes. Of course, we've got to put in our light switches for the electrical. So there's a lot of different projects I've got going on around the house. If you're interested in one specific project, be it not drywall or anything of that nature, let me know, and I'll try to work that content in for you. I'm always looking for ideas from you guys. So with that, like I said, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video next week. Oh, on that note, make sure it is Memorial Day. Remember what Memorial Day is. It isn't just a day off. It's all about those who have paid the ultimate price for us to live in the society that we live in. So I just went to Harbor Freight, picked up that pipe cutter, and I was thinking about it, and if I were to branch off of this line and just go straight to the back over here, I can cut across the garage and not have to worry about the lights, because I can go clear to the other side of the garage without any trouble whatsoever. And to be honest, I really don't need the line here in this area, because I've already got 3 connections right there, so I can just, you know, use these connections right here, and I can use my short air hose and get over in this area here. But I will end up with a line that's clear across over there in the middle of the garage. That'll provide me what I need over there for that side. And then from there, I can drop down below this area here, come back up, and then head out to the front of the garage, or even go out the side and then down the wall on the outside. Now, I don't want to do that because moisture in this area would freeze quickly, and my lines would be pretty much worthless or full of water. So I think what I'm going to do instead is just cut across the top right back here and not have to worry about the lights, because I really don't need a line going here and then dropping and then going all the way back and then cutting over, when I can just go along this wall, drop a line right here at the end, and then cut across, drop a line in the center, and then drop a line on that end, and I'll have 3 lines here. Then I can go around that little area and cut down and out by the side garage, near where the EV units at, only go out the other way, and have a line out there. So definitely a change of pace, and I'm kind of glad that I thought it through. But here's what I bought at Harbor Freight. I bought a plain old pipe cutter, and it works pretty good. The only thing I would suggest is throw some soap on your cutting blade, because it is aluminum, so that'll definitely help. But yeah, after cutting my pipe and getting everything squared away, that's what I'm going to do. So next week, that's what you can look forward to. So with that, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.